Interesting game, but I think every draw would have been interesting because I don't know if it's always the situation in England, but 4 top teams still in the draw, so there was not an easy one. And now with Tottenham, especially with us playing them Sunday, and then I think quite in half of January we play them again. So yeah, interesting draw.
Interesting as well because of Tottenham style of play, they tend to seem to go for it and never really put the brakes on.
Yeah. You really, I really have to give them credits, because if I look at Tottenham, and I come from Holland, but I did watch a lot of Match of the Day, and I think about Ginola, Paul Gascoigne, Glenn Hoddle, and Reece and Modric. For me, Rafael van der Vaart, Gareth Bale. They've always been a certain brand in football for me, and a certain identity, and I think Postecoglou gives them that identity back completely. So it's every time a joy to watch them, and sometimes results once in a while go against them. But I think they were one of the teams that beat City, like us. Not all of them beat them in the manner like we did, and Tottenham did, because it was completely deserved in these 2 situations. Dominated the whole game. We and Tottenham. So great work that ANGE is doing over there, and I hope this has been seen a bit more. And I also hope that he wins a trophy, not the League Cup, but I'm completely a fan of his team for the Europa League, because people always talk about trophies. That is so important. Now, for me, his brand of football, his style of football is so much more important. And if he can combine that with winning something, that would be so good for football in general, because then people can start to stop talking about it. It's too attacking or whatever. How on earth can you play too attacking football?
How do you look at the position you're in yourselves at the moment? Because a few weeks ago we were talking about you having an 8-9 point advantage, and this weekend Chelsea could feasibly be above you in the table when you kick off on Sunday.
Yeah, I look at it like I've said for 3, 4, 5 months. Judge the table after 19 games, because then everybody played the same opponents. Probably we all had a bit of the same bad luck and a bit of the same luck. That means Arsenal, for example, had a lot of red cards in the beginning of the season. That's why they dropped points. Now we were unfortunate to receive a red card, and we dropped points as well. We still have Tottenham away, which were games that I compare now with Arsenal had to play in the beginning of the season. Chelsea already played there, so yeah. Don't look at it where you were during the season. It's about where you are in the end of the season. But the best other moment to judge the league table is halfway.
I think last night again against Manchester United, as far as Spurs were concerned, we saw the good, the bad, and the ugly. Is it difficult to know what to expect from Spurs sometimes, because they can be so inconsistent at times?
They are consistent in their playing style and what they want, and for me they're sometimes a bit unlucky as well, because what happened yesterday, they dominated the game. They're always they always like to attack. So sometimes he plays always with three attackers, then with 2 attacking midfielders. The fullbacks join so much and join the attack so much. So they're always there. And yesterday, for me, they were so unlucky. So people say, why do you bring the ball out from the back? Because they lost the ball. And the second one, the goalkeeper wanted to kick it away, which is what everybody wants then. But it's still a goal. 4-3. I don't think there are many season ticket holders in the country that are that can say that they watch so many great games. Maybe the ones at Liverpool. Yeah, I think it's a privilege to be a season ticket holder at Tottenham. It's a privilege to be fan of them at the moment, because they play such a great style. And it's not like since ANGE arrived, they don't win anything anymore. Before that, they were not a club that won many things. But what they always won is the sympathy of the fans. In Europe, maybe also in England, I don't know, but definitely in Europe, because of the style of play they had. And that is something which you must not underestimate. If I think about Spurs, I think about the shirt, I think about the playing style, about their identity, about certain players. And for me, he brought that back completely.
Ange said in an interview last week that he thinks football management is the hardest job in the world, even harder than being the Prime Minister. What do you think of that?
I've said so many positive things now about him and his style that if I say another thing, it seems like I'm his agent. But I also like the way he presents himself in the media. He always finds a different way of saying things. So I heard this remark about him saying that we are judged every weekend, and the Prime Minister only been judged once every 3 or 4 years. Although in Holland, after a year we already have new elections the last few years. I think it's right that people talk more about the decisions managers make than the decisions a prime minister make. That is definitely true. But it's also true that the decisions the prime minister have to make are a bit more important than the ones we have to make.
At a busy time of the year, how good is it to have somebody like Harvey Elliott now back fit and playing and being able to play in slightly different roles as well within a game? How much of a boost is that for you at the moment?
Every time a player comes back from an injury or a player is available is a boost for us, for the team, because it has shown now many times already that we need every player. You saw this in the Fulham game, so you're talking now about the Southampton game. I'm talking about the Fulham game, the way Jogo came in, the way Harvey came in, the impact they had, Darwin with an assist as well. So yeah, in this league, especially if you also play Premier League and you're still in the League Cup and the second half of the season we get the FA Cup, also it's so important to have all your players back, and Harvey is one of them.
And similarly, Chiesa, more minutes for him now. Is he getting stronger now, closer to where you want him to be?
Yeah, he definitely is, because you see him on the pitch now. It means he's getting stronger and he's getting better. He had to adapt for quite a long time. I've said so many times, as expected, if you miss team training sessions for so long, and then you go to a league where the intensity is so high as well, and to a team that plays with a lot of intensity. But he is getting stronger, but he's also facing a lot of competition in the right wing position.
And you've got some young players as well, like O'Connell and Tyler Morton, who again are going to, at this time of the year when you're playing a lot of games, could be very useful for you.
Yeah, I think that's what made our game against Southampton for this club special, because we've seen that most of the clubs that were in the quarterfinal played with their starters. Only a few played with players that don't always play. Now, if you then look at United, that was a team that didn't play their starters. There were still players that were in the team that cost them 100 million. With us, if we don't play the starters, you see academy players either on the bench or playing or coming in, and that is what makes this club, I think, special. That there's always room for academy players, and that's not this season. That has been at this club for so long. That if at this club we miss a few players, we take a look at our academy, and that's what is part of our identity, you could say.
It feels like your in-game management has really stood out in recent weeks. Obviously, a lot to do with situations you find yourself in matches, but are you asking different things, new things from the players at the moment now that you've been here a while and they're used to your overall methods?
I don't think new things. I think it's constantly getting them aware of the same things and coming back to this every time. So sometimes you have a lot of attention for our attacking play, final third play or build-up, and then you feel like we have to work on our defense again, and then after 3 or 4 weeks you feel like now it's time to talk about build-up or a final third again. So it's just getting the message across as much as we can, because it's normal, not only with the football players but with my children as well. If you don't tell them a few things regularly enough, they tend to forget these things, so that's why this constant repetition is so important for a team. So I don't think we do a lot of new things. Maybe small details once, because football changes, so you have to adapt wherever you can and introduce new things. But the main message has always been the same, and it's about repetition.
And perhaps, how does the team's overall fitness kind of play into that at a time when the schedule is so grueling and you're getting so much out of the players often in extremely demanding situations, say whether it's down to 10 men or different circumstances or conditions or anything like that?
And the question is?
Just kind of whether the nick that the team is in at the moment is allowing you to get so much out of them at such a difficult, grueling time.
Yeah, but I think that has been like this for all the months that we've worked together. We've put a lot of effort in pre-season, although many of them were not there. We also made the choice to give them, in my opinion, quite a lot of days off. Maybe that's not the opinion of the players, but they had quite a lot of days off. And I still feel that we find the benefits of that at this moment, because I know in Holland some clubs only gave them 7 or 8 days off, and a few of these players got injured or as they say themselves, are very tired at the moment. Good thing for them as they have a winter break now. But so I think we and again I have to make compliments for the performance staff, because I fully trust them on that part, have managed that really well till now. But still a long way to go, a lot of games to be played. But if I'm correct, I think it's only 2 players in red at the moment. That means only 2 injuries left, and of course a few of them are coming back from injuries. But I think we only missed 2 players on the training ground today, which is a positive thing.
In interviews, Trent spoke about wanting to build a legacy. It means that when he finishes his career, he'll be remembered as the best right back. Just wondering, do you like that sort of ambition in a player, and do you feel you've built a platform here for him to be able to achieve that?
Yeah, I definitely like this in a player. I think this is something every player must have if you play at this level. If you don't have this, you probably don't play at this level. As long as they understand that they need the team to be special as an individual, as long as they put the team first, and as a result of that be special themselves, and that is what they all do, including Trent. But they need to have this. All the top players have this. They want to be special. They want to be the best. If that's not what you have, I think it's so hard to put the effort in. We were just talking about to stay fit, to play, to be good every 3 days, because okay, you always see them during the game, and then you probably feel like, oh, what a life these players have. And that is true. They have a great life, but they have to put a lot of work in to be able to be at their best every 3 days. And that's not given to everyone, that mentality and that discipline. And therefore, I think that's the mentality of a top player. And part of that is that you need and want to be the best possible player in your possession, or the best player in the world.
Well, hi Arne. You've had goals from your number 9 position in back-to-back games now, Jota against Fulham and then Darwin against Southampton. We saw Luis Diaz play as the number 9 in Jota's absence. He played really well, but after that hat-trick against Leverkusen, he found goals and even shots a little bit harder to come by. Have you seen enough from him in that position to say that you're going to get more opportunities to develop as the number 9, even now the main 2 are back fit and firing?
Yeah, let's start with the positive thing. I think it was a week ago where people said, yeah, Darwin doesn't get his numbers, and 1 week later he has an assist and a goal. Then you said, and mostly you're correct, but then you said, yeah, Jota as a 9 scored a goal. I think he came in as a midfielder because Darwin was the 9 at that moment, but he is also a 9 for us. So Lucio can play for sure in that position. He's done that very well for us. I think he's played there a few times, not that many. I think Girona, he played on the left. So I think after the Leverkusen game, he maybe played more games as a winger than as a 9. But he can play there, and we've got more options to play as a 9, like you just said, Darwin and Diogo as well. But Lucio is definitely part of that position as well.
Arne, with all the talk recently on the pressure and scrutiny that managers are under, are you someone that's able to switch off when you're outside of this place? And if so, what is it you do?
It is true that in certain situations there's a lot of scrutiny, and the other word was?
Just the pressure
pressure, yeah, but it's once in a while. It's also a nice job to have. So it's not only negative. I experienced this job in the last 4 or 5 months, and I know we've won a lot, as actually only positive. So I cannot tell you. Of course, there's pressure, but I haven't felt scrutiny. Maybe there was some scrutiny after the which was the one, Nottingham Forest game. But you don't always. That doesn't always come to you. If you lose a few more, then you start to feel. There might be some negative emotions as well. So it's not only negative for me, especially 2024. I only look back at it as only as positive. But yeah, it's true that because of the room is quite filled over here as well, and there are probably now many people at home giving their opinions as well on social media. It is true that people have a lot of opinion about us, but sometimes that's also positive. It's not only negative.
Just check, where are Canate and Bradley up to?
These are the two that are still in red, so they don't train with us at the moment. But they are on their way back, but they don't train with the team yet.
What do you think is realistic?
That is what I've said before, quite difficult, because I thought that Jota would have been back a bit earlier already, and sometimes the end stage of rehab takes a bit longer. Sometimes they join and then they are like, I'm not completely ready to start yet. So let's wait and see. But yeah, we have a very good rehab personnel over here, and they've done some good work already with Allison and a few others. And the main thing is, if they come back, that they are ready to come back. And we must not focus on 1, 2 or 3 days. It's more important for the long term that they stay fit afterwards. And this is what, till now, they've done really well. And hopefully with Connor and Ibu, the same thing happens.
Final question for David.
Not so much a problem at Southampton, but maybe in the last couple of Premier League games, maybe kind of slow start. Is that something you're concerned about, or something you've spoken to the players about at all?
Yeah, interesting, because my feeling was the same. So I thought, I always watch the game back, but when I watched our game back against Fulham, I felt the same. It's a bit of a slow start. It doesn't help that many of our home games, one of our players gets a knock, and there's a treatment for 1.5 minutes, and then there's a rule in this country that the player then has to be out for half a minute or 45 seconds. I don't know exactly how long it is. That doesn't help to build the momentum, because against City and against Madrid, I think we had quite a good start. But when I didn't look back at the Fulham game, first 10 minutes were really good. We were 2 or 3 times threatening them. Unfortunately for us, the linesman 2 times raised his flag. That wasn't offside. Talking about momentum, it's not a big thing, but it doesn't help to create momentum. We had a shot from Curtis Jones where we picked the ball where we should have had a corner, which the referee gave a goal kick. So I think we started quite well. But if you simply look at goals, we didn't score in the first 10 minutes, and we conceded 1, and we took a red card after 15 minutes. But which is difficult because there are vital moments in the first 15 minutes. But if I look at the other 14 minutes, I liked what I saw. There was intensity. We were on top of them. We were trying to come in their 18-yard box. But for the reasons I just gave, the momentum was not the same as it was against City or Real. But what we did was the same. Let's put it that way.
Cheers.
You're welcome.